I have asked one of our Chica breeders and exhibitors of Persians and exotics, Jody Johnson, if she would give us a little background on the cats and the care and what makes them a good pet and who should have one. Jody.
Hello. As you heard, my name is Jody Johnson and I'm from My Wish Persians and Exotic Shorthairs. And I originally got into doing animal kitties from a rescue. And once I got into doing rescues, I was rescuing Persians and exotics. And one of the things I was noticing was certain things that you have to watch for, and this is why I became a breeder. One of the most important things about a Persian or an exotic is to make sure they have larger nose leathers and able to breathe through nostrils. They need to be larger, not pinched or closed. It's one of the biggest health issues in this breed. I love this breed. I grew up with a Persian from my grandmother, and my whole life. And that particular blue-eyed white Persian lived to be 26 years old. Before raw was a thing, my grandma only fed them raw liver and half and half. Is that why he lived to be 26 years old? I'm not sure. One of the most beautiful things about exotics and Persians are their loving personalities. They say they're not really active. They say they're a lap kitty. They call them speed bumps. Well, the personalities on mine are just a little different than that. They are playful. They are not bricks on the floor. They are loving. They are sweet. And they get along with a lot of other animals as well. This is Solomon. He's 11 months old. I received him from another breeder that is also a Tika judge, and I am so honored that he allowed me this beautiful boy. The maintenance on a Persian and an exotic, you've always seen you have to keep up with their eyes. You have to keep their coats groomed. The difference, when you have a Persian, daily maintenance on their coat. An exotic short hair is the poor man or the lazy man's Persian because you don't have the coat. They say you don't have to brush it every day. They say they don't shed. I'm sorry, they do. Actually, exotic short hairs shed more than a Persian, but it's all okay because if you don't have cat fur on your clothes, then you're not sparkling. So on a daily maintenance on this breed, I like to personally use nose drops, just saline nose drops. It helps them to breathe a little easier. Again, one of the most important things on this breed is to look for the larger nose leather and the nares. Another thing I also like is saline eye drops or saline to clean around their eyes. They don't need to be high chemicals. They just need to be something to clean and pay attention to. This breed is one of the oldest breeds out there. It came originally from Persia, came over on the ships. They originally started coming over into Europe, and the Queen actually had a Persian. And then people started falling in love with them. Over the years, the Persian has changed in their looks because they had more of a nose. Then they started shrinking them, flattening them. Another thing you want to watch out for is you don't want their noses to be so small or so inverted that they can't breathe. Their structure, they should feel big bones, strong. They need to have little ears. And this is for a pet, it doesn't matter. If I go to find a kitty as a pet, my first thing is always the nose. Obviously, I'm repeating myself over and over and over again. The nose is so important. What else is there? They come in varying colors. You have a Himalayan, which are usually pointed, and they usually have blue eyes. So you're talking, they could be white and flame point. They can be black and white as well. Then you have the exotic, and then you have a Persian. Persians come in many colors, bicolors, solid colors. Other than you having to worry about long fur and combing it, a lot of times I tell people do a lion cut in the summertime because they're uncomfortable, they're hot. And by shaving them in the summertime and letting it grow, their coat's back by the end of winter and they're back. Exotics, you don't have to do anything like that. If you start them off young with bathing, it's really a good thing to get them used to it. And as I get my kittens, that's what I do. I start them from about 8 to 10 weeks, depending on how cold it is, starting to get them shampooed, groomed, so they're used to a blow dryer, they're used to shampooing. My grandbabies help me to introduce them to craziness. My husband puts their hands on, so it's not just women or men or what. And then I have dogs, I have a llama, I have goats. My animals are exposed to everything, and to me, this is what you end up with. So I've babbled and I've rambled a lot. Is there any questions?
Can you talk a little bit about who should have a Persian, who should have an exotic, and who shouldn't?
Who should not have a Persian?
Sure.
If you can't keep up with the coat and you don't have time, then I would say that would be my only thing as far as that. I try to make it so well-rounded that anybody can own one. You just have to be up to the challenge of keeping it groomed. Okay, yes?
What about dietary concerns are there?
To me, not really. As long as you follow what the breeder had them on, they're usually going to be really good. I like smaller nuggets because it stays in their mouths because they're short. Their jaws are short. I also do raw, and to me, and I make my own, so that's why I think their boning and their muscle tone is so good. And not all dry food is created equal. I'm not promoting anything, but I really like the Nulo for cats and kittens. If I'm able to give this to a kitten all the way into cats, that's really good. And I love the size of their nuggets. So, and it's grain-free and everything else. So I've actually switched to that, and everybody's on it. Persians can be a little sensitive with their digestion, and it can be controlled with just a little bit of like a Metamucil dry on their powder, because it gives them their probiotics and gives them their fiber, and it's good for diarrhea or not. Are you a rabbit? I think you're a rabbit. Anything else? Is that?
Talk to me about drinking, because I actually, when I was in the judging program, I had to do a Himalayan, and it was because of their short nose, because of their short everything, the drinking bowls, etc.
I was going to bring one over. Yes, that is a concern, especially how they eat and they drink. Also, their heads are so big, they think they're lazy. They'll put their face in the water, drink, and then they go to the food and it's all matted. So I like what's called like the beehive domed bowls that give you a small, for their muzzle, just enough to fit in. And it stops from the water getting everywhere, and then they go sit and eat the food. I also like using a bib. I make them actually, and you put that around and they look like a little clown collar, but they are comfortable with them. It beats a coffee filter. It keeps the food off of them, it keeps the water off of them. But there are special bowls, and I really like those for that purpose. Anything else?
What about sociability? Like, are they good with children?
Yeah, and again, that comes from your breeder. The breed itself, yes. But if it's raised as a kitten with a quiet house, elderly people, no commotion, that's going to be an issue, because with any breed. So these cats are born in my husband and my hands. I mean, you cannot just let them. I always thought, oh, just let the cats out. No, their heads are big. You need to be there. The moms need help. So you're there. Every 15 minutes, I'm up through the night when somebody's getting ready to have babies. So they're born in our hands. My cats live in my house with me. And then my grandbabies come. So they're used to that commotion. And like I said, I have goats and llamas and dogs. And so there's a lot of commotion, and we're very social. The more social they are as kittens, the more social they'll be with anything. So they're not with my dogs, but they're watching my dogs run by and stuff like that. So socially, there's some of the, not all of them, but for the most part, they're some of the most social, because they just want you to love them and admire them because they're just beautiful. Anything else?
What about their genetics, the diseases? I mean, a good breeder they check for a lot of things. They spend a lot of money to get healthy kittens. So what are some of the concerns and what you have to watch? And what should you ask a breeder when you want to buy a Persian or exotic?
One of the biggest things that happened in this breed was the kidney disease, PKD. And it was something that when it first got diagnosed, people were spaying and neutering once they have somebody dying from kidney disease. And it's something that can be prevented with a $45 test. So all you do is a cheek swab and we send it into UC Davis. And once you get a negative on the parents, you never have to test the kittens again. And to me, it's the biggest, cheapest gift you can give your pet buyers, because as I was rescuing, most of them had kidney disease. And I get emotional about it because it was such a simple thing to do to stop heartbreak from the people, from the cats. So ask your breeder, did you do PKD testing? I also do the FELV, FIV. It's just an automatic. Anything we can do as breeders to help make them live longer, everybody happy, that's what we should do. So always ask genetically what they do for testing and stuff. But in this particular breed, number one thing at the time was PKD. Anything else?
I'm going to thank you, and then if someone else has a question or they want to come up to you for a minute or so, we'll do that. But thank you for taking time for my educational channel.
Thank you very much for having me.